What's up guys, it's Megan. I hope you're having a really magical day. Today I wanted to talk about doing Be Our Guest for breakfast. I know that Be Our Guest and some of the other early dining reservations during the mornings can be really beneficial to your trip. So if you are interested in learning a little bit more about the early morning dining or Be Our Guest at breakfast, please stay tuned. And if you like Disney, please consider subscribing. Let's get into the video. If you can get a day where the park opens at 9 o'clock and the reservation can be for 8:05, there's no extra magic hours, there's no early morning magic or anything. Just the park opens at 9, people can get in to Fantasyland at 9 o'clock. Do that one because that is a good reservation to take. This was my first time eating at Be Our Guest for breakfast. I have eaten there for dinner before. It was my Christmas present from 2 years ago. It feels like it was so long ago. And the only reason that I really wanted to do that, and I had wanted to do it ever since it opened, was to meet the Beast. It is the only place that you can meet the Beast for dinner. You could only meet him at dinner. So I know that this is breakfast, we're going to talk about breakfast, but if you are interested in learning about dinner or different options or meeting the Beast, I do have a video about that. A lot of people, I don't know if you know, I do have some dietary restrictions, so I tend to have a hard time selecting what restaurants I want to eat at. My mom eats everything and she's usually my partner when we go to the park, and so I do have some of the restrictions that I have in there, whether you eat vegan or you don't. I have some options in that video. But for breakfast, you can get into the park at 7:45. So if you are there early enough, they will let you onto Main Street at 7:45. Everyone can get in at 7:45, get those amazing pictures of Main Street and the castle with no one there. There are PhotoPass photographers there if you are interested in getting any PhotoPass pictures taken. We always try and get PhotoPass pictures when there's no one in front of the castle or the partner statue, because those make the best pictures. And honestly, if you've never experienced Magic Kingdom that early in the morning, you really need to go because it's unbelievable and it's not crowded. There's not a lot of people there. It's just like, it's the best of Disney. So once you get your pictures taken and you have a breakfast reservation for your Be Our Guest, you're going to go over to the left-hand side of the castle over by the bridge heading towards Liberty Square. This bridge will, someone will check you in over there. They'll make sure that you have a reservation. If you don't have a reservation in Fantasyland, you cannot go into Fantasyland yet. If you have a breakfast reservation at Crystal Palace, that is unfortunately, or fortunately, I don't know, I guess whatever you want to see it as. But you can't get into Fantasyland because Crystal Palace is right next to Main Street, and the only other places that have early morning dining reservations is Cinderella's Royal Table and Be Our Guest. So if you are heading to one of those, you will be escorted over the bridge and you will have to check in over there for your reservation. You're gonna walk up past that little path that is sort of in between Liberty Square and the castle. There's really wonderful path. I love to get pictures there. And you're gonna head over towards that Cinderella water fountain little thing, the fountain, and it's beautiful. And I like all my technical terms today. But you're gonna walk into Fantasyland, which is literally dead quiet. And I'm gonna put in some video here, but oh my gosh, it was the deadest I had ever seen it, ever. And no pun intended, we're not in Liberty Square visiting the Haunted Mansion. We are in Fantasyland, which is the busiest part of the park, in my opinion. I always feel like it's the most busy, especially over by Peter Pan and Small World, where you're going into that small canal and there's no room for anyone to walk, and there was no one there. It was the most peaceful, magical experience I've had in a long time. So we walked all the way back to Be Our Guest, all the way back, as if it were a far walk, but it's not. And we had already placed our pre-order. That is another thing I suggest you doing. If you are doing the breakfast, you can go ahead. I don't remember how many days it is. It could be 30 days or I guess maybe whenever you make your reservation. You can put in your order, and when you get there, we had ordered before, and I put in my allergies and all these things that I have for my dietary restrictions, and so they were fully aware of it when I got there. they had us, like, they scanned my Magic Band, which had all the information about the reservation, and then it also came up saying that we had already pre-ordered our food for breakfast. And this probably saved us another 15 minutes. They gave us a little rose that, you know, signified that we had already pre-ordered our meal, and we got into a very short line when we got into the castle for pre-orders. And if you go straight, that's where the pre-orders are. And if you're going to order your meals, which like I said, I highly suggest that you pre-order them, it probably is a 15-minute or 20-minute wait depending on the day and what time you get there. But for me and for my mom, it was totally worth it. You also get a beverage included in this, so no matter what you get for breakfast, you're gonna pay for a drink too. So I ordered a water. I used the water bottle throughout the day. My mom got tea. She actually got tea like several times because we were there for about an hour or so. And we had already pre-ordered our meal. We had a wonderful, wonderful table. The last time we were eating at Be Our Guest for dinner, we had gotten a table in like the dead center, and it was just the two of us, and so it was like really busy. People were walking all around us. Not that it was bad, it was just, you know, it was a different experience than what we had this time. And we were sat we were also in the main dining room, and we were sat over by some of the windows. And the other thing that really surprised me was that they had the Christmas decorations still up. It was like January 11th or something, January 12th. I can't remember what day we went, but it was just, it was beautiful. And I couldn't have asked for a better seat. It was really, really peaceful to sit over there. There was no one bothering us. And so we sat down, we got a wonderful table, and our server said to us that our food would be out shortly. And as this is quick service, you don't really have the same sort of table service that you would get at dinner, which is a table service sort of meal. And we waited. It took us about it took me about 10 minutes to get my food, but it took my mom about 15 minutes to get her food. My food was really wonderful. I got French toast, which is friendly to dairy allergies and other allergies. If you ask them to do that, it's really easy for them to make. And when you pre-order your food, you have the option to select allergies. So for me, it was really easy. They narrowed down what food I can eat, and I picked one, and it was wonderful. And they also brought me, I had a little bit of fruit, and I had Erin McKenna bakery bread, and that bread was to die for. That bread was amazing. I had never eaten anything from Erin McKenna bakery before, and it was wonderful. It was vegan friendly, and it just tasted so, so good. Actually, one of them I didn't eat as much because I'm not as much of a fan of lemon, but it was like this chocolate bread. So good. And I'm a huge fan of chocolate, so that was the one I liked the most. And my food was really good. It was sort of lukewarm when I got it, but it didn't bother me very much because I don't think French toast needs to be steaming hot. I hadn't had French toast in about 10 years, so I really wanted to have some. And then my mom's food came about 5 minutes later. She had gotten the Feast à la Gaston, which came with like sausage and potatoes and eggs and this whole feast. And so she said that she enjoyed it, but it wasn't really warm. She would never complain about something like that, so she ate it and she enjoyed it. And she also got like a huge assortment of croissants and breads and pastries and all these things, which obviously I couldn't eat because of my dietary restrictions, but she loved them and she ate one, and then they gave her a box to take the rest of them back. So that's also a hint that you could ask the cast members or whoever's there, or you could bring your own bags, but they could give you a box and a bag if you need it to bring home your extra pastries, which I would suggest doing because the pastries and the breads were amazing. So we really enjoyed our experience, as you can see, for the food. But even better, this is totally what sealed the deal. Like, before I went on this trip, I put out this poll on Twitter. I said, listen, I got this early morning reservation for a 9 a.m. park opening day at 8:05. Should I keep it? Do you think Be Our Guest breakfast is worth it? It was about 70-30. A lot of people said it was worth it, but then there were a lot of people that said it wasn't worth it. because breakfast can be a little bit pricey. It was $24 or $25 a person. And like I have said in other videos, a lot of my Disney like money that I don't mind spending is on experiences, and that was an experience. I had never eaten there for breakfast, but then, like I was starting to say, because I cut myself off, it gave us the opportunity to head into Fantasyland with no one. The park was not open yet. It was before 9 o'clock, so we were like, let's get on Seven Dwarfs Mine Train. We walked directly onto the mine train. There was literally no wait. I never stopped waiting. I walked all the way until I got to the cast member. She sent me right on. We were in the almost the front row, I think. It was just an incredible experience, because then when we got out, it was already a 45-minute wait, because it was just 5 minutes after 9 and we had just made it onto the ride. I think that really sealed the deal for us. If you can get an early morning dining reservation, like I said, those 8:05 dining reservations, 8:30, you know that you can also go a little bit early. And a lot of times they could just squeeze you in earlier. So if you show up there at 8 o'clock, you get into the park at 7:45, you check in, they might be able to just seat you right away, regardless of what time your reservation is. And so I think if you head in with that attitude, or maybe they don't have as many people that day, you can easily get onto some of those really popular attractions like Seven Dwarfs Mine Train or Peter Pan. Peter Pan was unfortunately closed while we were there, so we didn't have the opportunity to try and get on Seven Dwarfs and Peter Pan, so who knows, maybe in the future we will do it again. But for me, it was 100% worth it. The food was really good on my end. Obviously I can't speak for my mom, but she said that the food was really tasty, although it was cold. And you know, we are very understanding people. We understand that they were trying to serve a lot of people, and there's just so many things going on, and you know, you can't make everything perfect. So she enjoyed what she had, and I really enjoyed what I had, and the breads, and just the service was really nice. And the fact that we got to see the Christmas tree and ride Seven Dwarfs with no wait, that was really the cherry on top. So if you guys have any questions about this dining experience or any early morning breakfast reservations, I have not eaten at Cinderella's Royal Table, but I have eaten at Crystal Palace several times in the morning because it's one of my favorite places. So I could try and answer your questions if you have any, but if you are, you know, interested in ever eating at Be Our Guest, let me know. I would love to hear about your experience, and if you end up getting on Seven Dwarfs with no wait. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I know it's a little bit long, but I wanted to give you a little bit of detail and my experience, and I hope you guys have a really magical day. If you enjoy Disney or any of this kind of content, please consider subscribing, and I hope you have a really magical day. I'll see you real soon, and remember that beauty is found within. So with that corny tagline, I'm gonna head out, and I'll see you guys real soon. Bye.